Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar. Through this webinar, we will walk through an overview on NetSuite by demonstrating dashboards, navigation, searches, reports, in addition to a quick overview on the procure-to-pay and the order-to-cash cycle. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing, if you noticed, I will minimize this thing. The first thing, if you notice, when I logged in the NetSuite, this is my landing page, which is actually my home dashboard. If I go at the at the left top, you can see this is the logo of the company. So also I'm able, or you are able to add the logos of the company on your account. As I move a bit to the right, this is the logged in user. And if you noticed, as I hovered over it, I have a list of roles that has been assigned to this user that I'm logged in with it. It is important to know that NetSuite is a role-based system. On each role, different security can apply, which helps indicate what screen the user would see and what data he will see as well. In addition to that, what he can do with each one of them. If I go quickly here and switch to a different role, I will try go to the purchasing and inventory management role. You will notice that the whole dashboard layout or my home dashboard will change. As you can see, here you go. So here you will notice that my landing page, which is the dashboard, has changed. Here I have the top 10. This is a trend graph that we're displaying here on this dashboard, showing the top 10 item by quantity that has been ordered for the last 3 years. And similarly, here you can see the navigation also have changed. I have the activity here. I have shipping and receiving, inventory instead of transaction list, and all the basic or the classic navigations that we have already seen. Let me switch back to our role that we'll be using for today. It's very also important to mention that usually the users will not have all these list of roles. They will have mainly their primary role and one most probably employee center, which is a self-service role where they can use to enter their timesheets, to enter their expense reports, and the purchase requisitions. So let's start by looking at this dashboard. This is the most interesting features about NetSuite. This is where you get the information at the tip of your fingers. By saying so, you can also design, these are configurable also, not only that you can have them fixed, no, you can configure them. The first thing that you can do, you can specify the layout. So based on the user preferences, you can change the layout that you want to display these small portlets. Not only that, also I have the option, if I want to personalize, I can add different content from all of these list of content that's available. It can be a list, it can be a search form, it can be a KPI meter, it can be a trend graph. So all of these are available. If I go also and discuss a bit the different types of portlets. We said this is a dashboard, and these small different boxes represent the portlets. One of them can be the reminder portlet. This is where you can add reminder. For example, if I am an AR clerk, maybe I want to see all the invoices that are overdue by customers, all the sales orders that are still pending to be invoiced. So I need to know why we haven't submitted these invoices to the customer. And also, if you notice on each portlet, you have the option to set it up. So this is also how we may say configurable. All of these are based on configurations. You can set, even if I edit one of these small reminders, highlight the rules, set what is actually should be as a warning, what can be highlighted as red as an error, or action should be taken immediately, as you can see here by the number of records. In addition to that, also, of course, you can add your reminders for your own tasks. Moving to this interesting portlet here, which is the business alert. These colorful information boxes. If we take the alert, for example, this one, the late non-stop order or the late orders, you can notice that this is blinking. Blinking because the type of it also is a reminder based on the data. So this means giving you indication. So it gives the managers or the controls or even the supervisor indication of whether an action is required on this specific item. So here I can see that I have 14 orders that are going to be delivered late to the customer. Another interesting feature is a drill down. I can click on these late orders, and then it will take me directly to the detail, to the listing of these orders, where I will see the total number of orders. And here, as you can see here, these are all the orders, which are the 14 that was showing for me on the outside dashboard. Not only that, and these listing, you can see I have conditional formatting. Like, for example, I'm highlighting anything that is orders to be late in red, and the potential orders that might be late is which are in grayed out. I still can drill down further. So for example, here, I can click on view and take me directly to the transaction level. Another very interesting feature is that I can right click and open it in new tab. So you can always show transactions side by side in NetSuite by having the multiple tabs or multiple windows as well. Until my sales order actually opens, let me talk a little bit about this type of listing here. These type of listing are called safe searches in NetSuite. Safe searches are queries that you build, criteria that you build based on transaction. Let's say I want to see all my sales orders that are not yet built. I want to see all the sales order for a total number of order for that specific customer or group by customer ascendingly. So these are list of orders that you can do from, or list of searches that you can create on or using safe searches in NetSuite. In addition to that, if you notice, I can export to CSV, I can export to Excel, PDF, I can print them. And not only that, I can directly send emails from within NetSuite. I can send directly the email of this specific safe search, or I can send an email. For example, I create a purchase order, and then on the save, I can say save and send. So it have the capabilities of sending emails directly from within the system. So here, if you notice, I can add who is my recipient. In this case, it will be myself as an employee, and I can specify what is how you want to see and send this information in the email. You want it in the message itself, in the body. You want to attach it as CSV, as an Excel. So what is the actual formatting? I can add some comment here, and then that's it. I can click directly, and this is how I'll be sending the email. If I go a bit to the email, my email, so here you can see these are different email that has been shared. If I open this one, so again, this is the email that has been sent directly from NetSuite, and this is the Excel that we have already attached, that I'll be downloading it here very quickly just to show it to you. And here you go. So these are the 14 orders that we were discussing. Again, going back, since I have my actual order open, so this is eventually the drill down up to the transaction level. This is my actual purchase order that has been open. Of course, these are direct sales order. That's why my control, whether it's late or not, is on the purchasing. So that's why I have the purchase order details open here in front of me. So the drill down is always available everywhere. The others, as you can see here, these the same, similar to what we saw in the late order. All the rest are configurable based on safe searches. So you decide, you create what are the different criteria, what are the different conditions that you want to see, and then you amend it so you can see it as a business alert. Another also very nice and important features is the navigation portlet. If you notice these small tabs that we have here over here, these are the actual navigator of NetSuite, my menu, where users will go through different transactions. But maybe this is too much for a user. For example, I need to go transaction and then look in where I need to go, for example, purchasing and go through creating the purchase order. Navigation portal provide me a more direct and specific navigation flexibility, which is automatically displayed for me. If I am a purchasing officer, directly it will give me that you need to work on creating the different purchase order contract requisitions, and so on and so forth. On the specific portlet, I show to have, because here I'm acting as an executive manager, I tend to show the financial reports. So here there are all the related financial reports that an executive manager might be, or a financial manager might be interested in. One also nice portlet is that if you can see here, you have the executive financials as well. These are type of KPIs. These KPIs that are also, they include trends. When I say they include trends, as you can see, these are comparative dashboards or portlets. They are comparative. I'm comparing my sales this week to last month. Okay, sorry, this week to this month, and then to the last month. And accordingly, I'm seeing if I have growth in my GP or not. So here I have the sales, the invoices, and as we go in, I have the profitability and the net profitability. So it's the summary of overall how the business is doing at a click of a button. Not only that, if you notice, as I was hovering over some of these features, I have this small icon. This is the trend graph. So if I click on it, I can see the trend. And even the trend graphs, I can have it selected by different predefined parameters. So I don't need to go and create the formula. So the system calculates all the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly, or the yearly data. It does this aggregation automatically by predefined formulas. So this is the advantage of NetSuite. If I go and specify, I want to see monthly, so this is the monthly option. Also, I have different graphical options here. This is an area. I can use it as lines. I have the bars, columns, and not only going forward, we have also the ability to have side-by-side comparison. Of course, side-by-side comparison will work mainly on monthly and quarterly. Okay, so here I can see the comparison between the sales 2022, 2023, and 2021, 2022. So these are the different comparison lists. Also here, I can drill down. For example, I have the sales of this month. I want to see the details of them. So if I click on the sales of this month's sales, it will automatically direct me to the report, which is sales by customer. Here as well, as you noticed, this is a summary where I can go and view the details. I can view the details by customer, or I can say I want to view the details of this report specifically. So first I had the summary. Here I know that these amounts are coming from which invoices specifically, and also I can go up to the transaction level. So here, if I click, I want to check this invoice, I can directly go to the invoice entry form inside the system where I can validate it further. Okay, let me open it in a new tab. So it takes some time, and now I will go back to my home page. So again, whenever I click on my home icon, it takes me back to the home page. Moving further, if you noticed, we have a portlet showing, which is the subsidiary navigation portlet. This portlet shows the multiple business entity within the same organization. For example, you can have an organization can have multiple companies. So this portlet will provide you the view across all the companies that are available within the organization. And not only that, for example, as you can see here, This is the headquarter. This is my headquarter company, and under it I have the America, I have Australia, I have EMEA, and then under each one of them I can go further into details. Here, for example, I can go up to the States and see I have US1, US2, and US3 as companies. If I click on one of these, let me go and click on, for example, America, you will notice that the whole dashboard will be refreshed, as you see. So it displays for me only the data related to the subsidiary that I have just selected, or in other terms, the subsidiary is the company. So here you go. I had 14 orders before. Now I have only 2 orders that are related to this company. This view also opens up for us a new subject that now, having mentioned the capabilities of NetSuite to manage different companies and subsidiaries, we must also mention the consolidation that NetSuite provides. Let me take one of the financial reports to show the consolidation with more details. If I take, for example, the trial balance, also trial balances, income statements, these are financial reporting that are readily made in NetSuite and they are available directly for the use. You still have the option, these are the actual reports on NetSuite. You still have the option, of course, to customize. This option is always available in the NetSuite. Actually, NetSuite idea is that you have everything. Somehow, most of the things are predefined, especially the setups, the cycle. You don't need to put a lot of time on the setup and the cycle. While on the other hand, you have this time that you're saving from the setup and implementation, you have the luxury of providing it to personalize it more to suit the way you do the business, whether it's through the report customization or personalization, the dashboard that you want to amend on each role, and also at the level of the transaction, what fields you want to see and hide accordingly. Going back to this report here, if you noticed, I have, of course, this is a trial balance showing as of June 2023. I have the option to change the date, the period that I want to use. Not only that, see here, this is the subsidiary context, and this is the most important part. I can say I want to see the headquarter as only the headquarter trial balance. So let me click refresh. When I say it's headquarter, it's only the headquarter office. And it will display for me the total, the trial balance accordingly. I can say I want to see the consolidated America. Then it will show me all the sister company related to America along with America. If you notice here, it's all at a click of a button. So the consolidation is already built in. You're only creating the hierarchy, you're creating your company and your sister company availables, and then everything comes in place. Again, if I go ahead and this is Consolidated America, let me click refresh. And here now I will be displaying the trial balance for America. Also, I have the option, maybe if I don't want to show it in debit and credit, so I have 2 different views for this specific trial balance, which is I can show directly the totals. Similarly, even on the trial balance report, or the income statement, or the order by customer, or the order by vendor, all of these have a drill down functionality. So here I want to check, for example, this specific accounts. I can click on it and it will directly take me to the detailed view of this account. Let me just increase the range. Okay, and let me refresh. Okay, so now here on the detail, what the system did, it displayed for me on this account all the detailed transactions. We see here now we're going by transaction level, the journal, the checks, the payroll checks, the payments that has been, bill payments, cash sales that has been created on this account. All of these details. And similarly, I can still go into the detail up to the transaction level. So if I click here, sorry, it will take me to the transaction level as we saw previously. And this is the cash saved transaction. It's already open. So this helps, of course, maybe if I see something wrong, one of transactions shouldn't be booked on this account, I can go again up to the entry level and see where the problem all started and find a solution for it. So again, this is the visibility part also of NetSuite. So we have the dashboards, we have the different reports, we have the actual financial reports, and we have the drill down functionality, which provides you visibility. That's why when we said it provides you the numbers at your finger, especially for management level. Now, again, talking about that NetSuite can be a multi-subsidiary or a multi-company, can support multi-companies. Now, we cannot also stop on that. For each company, you can go ahead, you have another level of categorization, which are the departments. For each company, I can create unlimited number of departments. I don't have limit for the number of departments. And in addition to that, I can also go and classify the department into different segments, which comes, what we have is the segmentation also that the NetSuite offers, or the classes, the different classes that offers. For example, you want to track income and expenses separately for household and commercial account. So you need to set up a different class on the account level for these two separately. So whenever you create a transaction, whenever you create a journal entry, or even you can specify these different department classes on the item level, predefine them on the item level if you don't want the user to specify them on the transaction level. So all your financial reports and other reports can be grouped by the company, the subsidiary itself, by the departments, and by the different segments that you have divided the company accordingly. Okay. Let us now move to the pre-set up business cycles, or actually the business cycles that NetSuite comes with. Today, we will highlight mainly a quick overview of or about the procure to pay and the order to cash cycle. For this reason, the first cycle I will start with is actually my procure to pay cycle. I have already created a purchase order for the sake of the webinar. I have the PO number, so I want to search it and go directly there. And I have the global search option. The global search option is very interesting, for I can directly type, this is my purchase order number. So now the system, the global search will search across all the transaction and everything that's related that I have imported inside NetSuite, and then it comes back where I have this number relevant. This is the purchase order. I will go ahead and open it in new tab. Close these. Another option to ease up pulling back records, also from the recent activities or the recent records, I can see I have, this is the same order because I have created yesterday, so it's still under my recent activities. So also I can click on it from here. So when we talk about cycles, specifically the predefined cycles in NetSuite, and when we mention that the cycles are predefined, is as you can see here. This is a purchase order. I can directly know what is the state of this purchase order. It's pending receipt. So the next receipt is to receive it or to bill it to close the cycle. I don't go and define what are the different steps of my purchase orders. The system comes with this definition. I have many features and many features that I can amend to this setup. Like, for example, as you can see here, I have the ability to bill before I receive. This is an option which you can activate it or deactivate it, depends on the business requirement. If I would say this is the purchase order, as you can see here, I have these that's here the tabs, the detail tab. Here I have the item. A purchase order, of course, can be related to items, non-stock items or services, or it can directly, you can be booking expenses like travel expenses, visas, all of hotel tickets can be go direct to expenses by account rather than have a non-stock item definition. So both options are available. You have the shipping address, the shipping promise ship date, you have the billing also as well, terms, the vendor terms, of course, most of these come defaulted from the vendor information that you have set already on the, that you have already defined on the vendor level. Let me do two things. I will click here will open the vendor in a new tab. So to show you directly also the vendor and the 360 view that's also known in NetSuite. Any transaction that's created in NetSuite, you can view it on the vendor level. You can see all the transaction related to this vendor. On the receiving level, you can, on the purchase order level, so you see all the receipts that have happened on this purchase order. On the bill, all the receipts that's related to this bill, and the payment, of course, as you go. So here, this is the vendor page, is where I set up the list of vendors similar to the customers. The very nice and important part of it is that the dashboard, even each vendor, and as you can see in the customer, each vendor has its dashboards related to it. Again, accessibility, visibility that we have. If I click on the dashboard, I will see the overview of the vendor. As you can see here, the company that belong to, the primary currency, the balance that he has, the unbilled order that he still have, and also I can edit and go back to the vendor details screen. In addition to that, I can see the purchase order here. I have a KPI that shows a comparison of this year to last year, different purchase order. I have vendor dashboard links, like for example, these are different reports, the aging of these vendor, the payment history regarding this vendor, and directly from here, I can go and create purchase order for that specific vendor. Again, when we talk about dashboards, all of these can be personalized, so we can change and add the dashboards that suits the business the most. So now also to receive this purchase order going back, if I click on receiving, it's very simple. To receive it, I click on the receive. If I'm a warehouse keeper or a storekeeper or a warehouse supervisor, I will have the receive option available. The bill, of course, will not show to me because part of the security, I'm not responsible for the bill. The bill will be the financial responsibility. So here, as you notice on the item receipt, it's as easy as it looks. Everything comes predefined, pre-selected from the purchase order. Only if I need to specify the inventory detail, if I have a serial number attached to this item and I want to mention it before it comes into my warehouse, I can set them here under inventory details. This is the quantity, and this is the rate also coming from the purchase order. This is the actual location. So I'm delivering the stock to this warehouse. These are my warehouses. Also, if I want to change the warehouse at the level of the receiving, I have the flexibility to do so. So let me go ahead and save it. The moment I save, the receipt will be already created. Okay, just skip it a couple of seconds until the receipt is submitted. So here we go. So this is the receipt number, the reference number of the receipt, and automatically it showed me what is the next step. So see, this is when we say the cycle is interlinked all together. You create the purchase order, the next step is receiving. After receiving, you have the bill. If you have the option to bill before the receipt and this was already billed, then the bill button will not show here because the system will know that this is already billed. If I go back here to the purchase order, see, also now it showed me directly that it is now pending for billing, and I can go ahead and bill it as well from here. The third option is I can go from transaction, bill orders, bill purchase order, and also here it will show me all the list of purchase order, the pending billing, and then we can proceed by the billing one by one. Of course, it depends on my role. If I'm a financial person, maybe I want to go directly to here because I will not be working only with one purchase order, I will be working with many. Okay, so this is it. Another thing that I wanted to show, the interrelation is that if I go to the related transaction under the purchase order, now I can see I have the receipt number available. Of course, from here, I can drill down to the receipt. Let's go ahead and build this PO. Similar to what we saw in the receipt, the system will take the same information that was available on the receiving options and will make it available here. Of course, here at this stage, because this is a bill, I have the account that is defaulting, which is my payable account number, and this is defaulting from the vendor automatically. Okay, I have the posting period, to which period I'm going to post this bill, because now we're going more financial at this level. And here you have the detail of the bill. Let me save it, and let's see the GL impact. So see here, these are part of the tolerance setup and the credit, the vendor limits that we have predefined. If you notice, I got an error that this has exceeded the vendor limit. That's why it gave me a warning eventually. Then I chose either to go with it or then no, I have to stop and check why it has exceeded the limit, or maybe verify the limit that I have set at the vendor level. Another nice thing, if you talk about, we have, see these forms, you have different forms here. So apparently if I select here, I have all of these list of forms. This is part also of the personalization that we're talking about. So you have the option to show fields. For example, if the account always comes from the vendor, the AP account, so I may not need to show it on this transaction. So I can customize the form, hide the field, rename some of the fields. So all of these are applicable. And also you can create as many forms as you want, and you can set forms as preference for specific users or roles. Okay, so now here, before I proceed the payment, of course, on each transaction level, I can check my GL impact always. So if I go and validate my GL impact at this stage, it will show me what is the actual accounting entry that has been recording. As you can see here, I have credited my AP and I have debited the expenses that are related to inventory received not billed. These are the RMB account level. And of course, now when I create the payment, I will be debiting the AP and crediting the bank. So going back, also I can look. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I thought I lost connection. Okay. And of course, the last step is to create the payment accordingly. Let me move also very quickly and briefly. Similarly, on the sales order cycle. So on the sales order cycle, also I have created a sales order yesterday for the sake of our demo. So here, as you can see, this is the sales order. I can go ahead and open it in a new tab. Again, when we're talking about the easy of conversion of this cycle, or the how easy it is to convert from the purchase order, from the requisition to the PO, from the PO to a receiving, from the receiving to become a bill, and then the bill to a payment bit. As you can see, it's at the click of a button. So this is very user-friendly and very flexible. When we talk about the sales order cycle, of course, I create the order. It's either coming from a sales quote, and I can proceed further. Then I generate from it the sales order, and afterwards I have the fulfillment step, which is here. This is the sales order that I have created. Similarly, you have these different forms. Below are the item details that I have on the sales order. I can add the shipping information. And not only that, here when I have the shipping, I'm introducing also the different, who's the carrier. I have to mention that NetSuite has out of the box integration with UPS and FedEx, as you can see. So only if you have an account, you need to define the accounts, and then you will have directly the integration ready. The shipping charges, billing, to whom I'm going to bill. So all of these as well are predefined. Now let me go ahead and very quickly, I know this is a very quick overview. There are much more details on the cycle level when it comes to sales and procurement. This is a very quick overview, just again to show you the flexibility, the ease of use that we have on the system. After I click fulfillment, we can choose to have the fulfillment in one step, or we can choose to have it in 3 different steps. As you can see here, my item fulfillment can go through pick, pack, and ship, or it can be fulfillment options only. So this depends on the setup that you have decided on best with your business. You can do it. So here, if I say I want to ship it, the same, I can specify the inventory detail, the actual location, and say that now I am shipping the items. After that, it will move, actually here I move directly to the ship item. If I went through the pick pack, if I picked it, I can first go and pick it, and then afterwards somebody say after packing that's packed, and then when it's loaded to the truck, it will be shipped actually. Now what I did just now is that I chose that it was shipped. I just skipped the first 2 steps, which also I have the option to do so. The pick, pack, ship fulfillment stages are very important for reporting purposes. And if we are using the WMS inside NetSuite, so we need to go and track these different stages. So now, as you saw in the purchase order, similarly, now I want to build or create the invoice on this customer. Let me go ahead. So if I click invoice, the invoice will be automatically created. I can also check the GN impact of it. Okay, and let me proceed with the invoice. So this is the GN impact that is related to my shipping level. Okay, so of course at this stage I have mainly they are all cost of goods sold and inventory accounts. So now it will take me to the bill, and I'll be creating the invoice for this customer. I will move on very quickly on it. Okay, so here we go. I will save my bill. Okay. The tax code also, if it was defined at the level of the customer, the system will not ask me to create the tax code here. But since it was not defined, then it asked me to amend it here. Again, it shows me who's the carrier and the related information for the invoice. Let me go ahead and show. Actually, let me also show you one last thing, which is the customer level. So here, if I go and select my customer, also here using the global search, again, the importance of global search, I can put that it's cost like that. So it gives me only the customer list, and I don't want that it bring me everything. So his name is Williams Electronics. So here I can go to the dashboard. Again, similar to what we saw on the vendor. So I have it also available here. The invoices that are being created. Again, this is the 360 view. The invoices that are overdue for this specific customer. I can see them here. The KPIs related with comparison report, the links to the reports, sales reports that I have. So similarly to what we saw on the vendor level. Also, I have here a quick action list. Like, for example, if I want to create a sales order, I can go directly from here. If I want to create an invoice, cash sales, all of these, I can access them quickly from this stage. Okay, let's me edit the customer information in detail. So here are the customer information detail. And so here you can see if I have cases regarding this customer, the whole vision of the customer. If I have, these are of course the contact of the customer. Here are the different activities that have been created or messaging at this level. So all of these can be done. One last thing that we have not, of course, we didn't have the luxury of time to show, but it's good to mention that approval workflow, we haven't showed approvals. I didn't go through approval because of the time, but NetSuite comes with workflow templates that you can use, copy from them, and also you can create and customize your workflow that you want, your approval workflow, and they can be applied on whatever records that is needed. Going back to my homepage, as you can see, NetSuite is a cloud ERP which delivers a single integrated business management software solution. NetSuite provides each employee with real-time business intelligence tools that help them to build and see the information that they want with huge accessibilities. This is a very quick webinar, as we mentioned, a very quick overview. In case you have any questions, please feel free to send us your questions by email, and also you can contact us the following telephone and emails, the website as well. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.